Yo, welcome back. Let's start this shit. I'm gonna be surprised if there's like a big twist that I didn't see coming in this trial, because I feel like everything seems pretty obvious. Oh, let's start with the explanation of this final class trial. In this class trial, we'll discuss all the truths of the skill and school life. If you uncover all the purposes and meaning of the mastermind, including the skill and school life, then the students will be victorious, and they will be able to return home safely through the helicopter waiting outside. However, if you can't figure out all of them, you all will receive a harsh punishment, and all the survivors come to zero. Your killing school life comes to an end. Oh, by the way, in this class trial, I'm also participating in the discussion. Please treat me as a student, not as a judge. And surely this will be a fair trial? Of course, there will be no such thing as slaughtering in the middle or refusing to admit defeat. Take it easy, but not too much. We're going to find the truth and get out of here. Hey Mada, I'm sorry, but not everyone will. Don't forget, we have to punish those guys who made us do this and took the lives of innocents. Oh, I'm so scared. Well, if you win, I won't stop you no matter what you do. Why does he sound so confident? It looks suspicious too. I'm not confident at all. There's nothing suspicious. Actually, I'm not sure if we have to go this far, but Miss Tara wants this. Monokuma-sama, please don't tease them too much. Is everything in order now? Okay, Miss Tara Musher. Well, now you guys, let's discuss the truth now. Hee hee ha ha ha. The discussion for the truth. The class trial to uncover the truth of all the events has begun. What have we investigated this time? And based on everything we've experienced so far, let's find out the reasons as much as possible. And we must win. I'll punish the evil mastermind and get out of here alive with my friends. My friends. But if you suddenly ask us to discuss the truth, confused on where to start? I thought you would be, so I prepared a question from my side. Question? It's not a discussion about a murder case, and the number of people is small, so I think it's better than talking randomly. Basically, you will answer the question I ask, and I will tell you on the spot whether the answer is correct. If you answer each question in this way, won't you be able to reach the truth? It's not a bad plan. Start wherever you like. Okay, so the first question goes like this. The identity of this place where we are now. Since this is the most basic fact that is connected to the truth. The identity of the place we are now. There's nothing to think about too long because we've each known for a long time. The identity of this place is... Oh my god, we're doing this again? Okay, I need to open up the fucking website to see the word in Korean. Sorry. Yeah, I just noticed because I intentionally didn't look at the pictures on the website to not spoil myself by accident, but there's some crazy fucking spoilers in there. Jesus Christ. One of them is literally like the very last CG we saw before entering this trial. Why would they put that there? Okay. At least I can't really die in this. Because I have an infinite blue stuff, right? It's this one. Stop moving! This one. This one. Obviously it's the Kisaragi Foundation, by the way. I don't know why they even make you do an anagram for this. God. Corredayo. The identity of the place we are now. At first, everyone believed that it was Hope Speak Academy, but that wasn't true. The true identity is a laboratory owned by the Kisaragi Foundation. The exact name is the Third Kisaragi Laboratory. The board near the entrance was almost erased, so I couldn't read it properly, but it seems that it is a research center mainly for software and brain research. What's even more surprising is the fact that this lab is not located in the central city, but is located on an island surrounded by the sea on all sides. We were moved to a place like this without our knowledge. Yeah, the view beyond the 5th floor door that I saw when I investigated it, it was definitely shocking. I didn't know whether or not it was Hope's Peak Academy, but I would have never guessed it to be this far. Then the fact that you guys know that means that the door to the outside has been opened. Well, except for the fact that it was an island and the exact name, I had already predicted this a long time ago. Immediately after leaving the ballroom, Mikori explained it to us. Well, I also made some guesses based on the traces of the Kisaragi Foundation everywhere, in the research facilities that cannot be seen as cool facilities, although there was no what was that word? Corroboration? Yeah, the door to the outside. The door on the 5th floor reminded me of the structure of this building. The place we thought was the first floor was actually the 4th basement floor. The place we thought was the 5th floor was the real first floor, connected to the ground. I remember before coming here, after Uehara found Maki's phone, it was only natural that it came as out of range from signal. It was, yeah, because we were underground, and in the middle of the sea too. It was in the middle of an unknown sea, and the place we tried to call at the time was the 1st floor of the student dormitory, meaning on the 4th floor basement. Hoo-hoo, that's the right answer. This is a 3rd Kisaragi research lab. I think it was a facility built for artificial intelligence research, when the Kisaragi Foundation was around here. It seems that it has been neglected for a long time because it has gradually declined since the 2nd CEO took over, and it has become obsolete. Oh, and the structure is also correct, but to be precise, it's not a 1-story building. It's been in a bit of a remodeling right now. Isn't this courtroom an observatory that's about 4 stories high? Originally, there was an elevator going up only. How do you know so much about the subject, even though you're not a person from the Kisaragi Foundation? It's not surprising, because I know that much. No, you guys originally knew. Past tense, meaning Kisaragi himself informed us, the one who brought us here in the first place. Hey, Kinjo-sama, stop. Leave it until then. Even if your memories are returning to you alone, don't go too far. The game won't be fun, right? Game, don't make me laugh, you rotten bitch. Wasn't it you who told me my ban was lifted when I arrived to the trial? Besides, this isn't a trial on the murder case. It's just a trial that uncovers the truth. The sense of a game is to be enjoyed alone. What? No, this is entertainment. Didn't I tell you? Originally, I could have disposed of you all without having to do this. But I only gave you a chance to tell me the truth through my promise for them and entertainment. You have to obey the rule and have a sound trial on both sides. And if you don't follow the rules, it's no fun, you know? What, are you threatening me now? This is a joke. If this is the case, this ain't a fair trial anymore, is it? I'm doing this for you. You see, there are people who get confused when Kinjo-sama goes too far ahead. Can't be. Kisaragi brought us here. But the Kisaragi Foundation, huh? Don't forget, this is a class trial. It's important to clear up with order and agree with everyone's opinion, and fluttering around that memory of yours alone is like claiming that you found the culprit without any clues and just went around cheating. I don't mean to take her side, but I'd like to ask this from my side as well. I sometimes wonder how far the truth can be reached only with the information we found out. Alright, but if you're stuck, don't hesitate to ask for help, because there must be information that only the one who has regained their memory knows. So that's all. Let's go slow, because there's still plenty of time here. So how far did we go? You were only told that this place was the Kisaragi Research Lab, Miss Tara. That's right. This is the 3rd Kisaragi Research Lab. It was not Hope's Peak Academy. Then why are you, the students of Hope's Peak, at this research center in the middle of the sea? Whether it's a game or entertainment, we're also getting to know them. Somehow I felt this was predetermined. But even so, we're getting closer to the truth. The reason we're at the Kisaragi lab, let's discuss this. It's one of the papers, right? Memory manipulator, okay. In prison here. It was the day on the soft introduction at the entrance ceremony. Yes, we've been erased from our memories after that. But in common sense, they only removed certain memories. Such a method can exist, right? And Kinjo's skill is so broken. Some kind of machine. Wouldn't it be possible if you used something like that? Machine? What machine? That I'm not quite sure. A machine capable of removing, modifying, and manipulating memories for a certain period of time. Maybe. Yeah, we're missing our fucking Aoge that we had in the profile picture. Ugh. What's wrong, Maida? Nothing. I just felt dizzy. We're getting the fucking Kurokawa brainworms. Anyway, wouldn't it be possible to erase your memories using such a machine? Even if you say it was a machine, what kind of machine is it? Are you talking about fantasies, Yuki? Have you ever seen it? No, I haven't seen it, but somehow I just... I don't know why. Why didn't I naturally think the idea was correct? Are you okay? You seem nervous. Do you not feel well? It's not like that. I was saying my thoughts. There's no proof. If there's any confirmation, there is, Maida. Huh? As Maida said, there's a machine capable of wiping our memories. Really? You guys don't know because you lost that memory, but I saw it in my hazy consciousness just before I lost my memory. A gigantic mechanical device that swells up in my head. Was that maybe the huge shadow behind the information processing room? I can't say for sure because it was dark, but I think that's probably true. What's certain is that the mastermind clearly used a memory erasing device, as Maida said. I'm surprised. I didn't think there really was a machine like that. If it wasn't for Kinjo's testimony, I'm sure I wouldn't believe it. Yeah, it's surprising, but rather than the machine, it's more surprising that Maida mentioned that machine. What? You don't usually think of such absurd thoughts first, do you? Still, Maida answered right away without thinking of any other possibility. It's very amazing. That's, well... I'm not sure, somehow I just thought that first. When something like that came out, it made me feel dizzy. Maybe Maida's memories are slowly coming back. His memories are coming back? If my memory is correct, that woman, Akane Tara, did that. The machine was still in the prototype stage. There are some uncertainties. My memories came back, but not in perfect state. Is that right? Well, the chatter seems to be getting a bit long, but anyway, that's the truth. The one I used for you is called the memory manipulation device, since there's no official name for it. In the past, the machine was used by a certain student while improving it. I was also taken over, so I don't know the details of this part. I'm feeling a bit squeamish, but I can keep going. The reason we were brought to a Kisaragi lab must have something to do with that erased memory. Wait, there's something I'd like to know before that. To be able to manipulate memories, Akane Tara, did you erase your own memory? Yeah? That's still in doubt, but at the end of the class trial, you said something out of context. It was hard days to live without thinking about them. Besides, Monokuma said, "Are you back?" It feels like her personality completely changed since she's been acting so far. I can't explain that kind of purpose. I can't explain that without erasing your own memories. The only problem is that if that happens to be part of the plan, the future becomes unclear as a result for the mastermind. I was going to explain this a little later, but it can't be helped. As Mikaro just said, I erased my own memories. Is that really it? You don't have any ideas, do you? I don't know what your purpose is, but if you erase your own memories, you won't even know your original purpose, right? That's because in the first place, my memory has nothing to do with the purpose. Just as my memory is back now, I've also prepared the keyword to get my memory back, just in case. Well, that's how it roughly happened. I'm done with my story. We're going to finish talking about me, right? Still, she really erased her own memories. That's why she used the expression, "this is the real me." But I don't know why. What's the benefit of doing such a thing? Why did I do that? If you look closely, my memory don't really matter to me. It would be bothersome to consider the number of issues later. If you've forgotten where you're supposed to be talking, I'll help. Erasing your memory is the aftermath of using a memory manipulation device. And I even said that those lost memories have something to do with why you're here. Noisy, even if you don't say anything, I know. Anyway, when we woke up, the fact that we were in Hokushiki Academy or the Kisaragi lab means that we were already in this place before we lost our memories? That's the way it is, isn't it? Then isn't something weird? If we hadn't been kidnapped, I don't think we would have come to such a strange place just because we were crazy. No, maybe the premise that this is a strange place is wrong. What? Didn't she say it a while ago that they did some remodeling? In other words, it's possible that this Kisaragi lab was modified to imprison us from the beginning. It's not a possibility, it's about being right. Isn't it crazy that the lab looks like a school? Besides, the surveillance camera equipped with guns and various machines we saw at the time of execution can only be seen as the latter case. Heh. Not only that, we've always been suspicious of the Kisaragi Foundation because the place we went to was the Kisaragi Foundation's lab. On the contrary, the Kisaragi Foundation might have been the ones protecting us. No, but it's not just speculation. Many clues have already been found. Just as we heard from Kinjo, Kisaragi was originally our classmate. Contrary to what we thought, he might have been in a position to fight against the mastermind. Shut up! Dude, you should have died in case 1 instead of Mitch. Imagine if Mitch was here right now. Wait a minute, Yuki, aren't you getting too ahead of yourself? Teruya, is there something you want to object to? Of course, I did my own investigation too. I mean, I've tried to do my own reasoning, but looking at what we found, I can't believe that the Kisaragi Foundation is innocent. That's what I believe. If I'm wrong, then please convince me with no doubts left. Bum, bum, bum. Probably memory storage? I'm guessing it's a memory storage. Ultimate despair. I don't remember what this piece of evidence said specifically, so maybe it's this also. I'm not sure. Nope. Okay, it's a Kisaragi Foundation one. This is annoying because I can't check the truth bullet. I want to remember what the truth bullet called Kisaragi Foundation said exactly. Teruya, that's not it. The Kisaragi Foundation didn't support the mastermind. There's evidence of that on the computers in the electrical room of the second floor dormitory. Just as Teruya said, the mastermind singled out the Kisaragi Foundation, but the Foundation refused to cooperate and fought against them. I know that too, but that only means they couldn't cooperate voluntarily. Maybe they were forced to follow them, right? That data also contained content that they threatened to take their successor as a hostage. It is as you say, Teruya. Why didn't you read to the end? It is clearly written there that they were going to keep their hands off from the Kisaragi Foundation, considering their profits and losses. In addition, there's another reason why the mastermind doesn't need to seek help from the Kisaragi Foundation. The Toya group? It's obvious, but if you look at the technology used by the mastermind, they've received some help somewhere, but not from the Kisaragis. I mean, they already received aid from elsewhere. There must have been evidence, that is... Do I not have a piece of evidence about the Toya group or whatever? Could be this. Could be this. This? It mentions Toa. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm gonna try Monokuma. Okay, good. This is because the Mastermind has already received cooperation from other than the Kisaragi Foundation. A different source. I heard it from the display in the information processing room. There was information about Monokuma. According to that information, the place where Monokuma was made is in Toa City from Toa Group, a robot built with technology. Toa? Unlike the Kisaragi Foundation, no one knows about them. I don't believe it either, but it has been mentioned carefully. Because they got the cooperation of the Toa Group, and there was no need to threaten or seek the help of the Kisaragis. I can't believe it. There were several chain stores subcontracted to Toa City and the Tori Mart. I'm sorry, but what Maeda-sama said is true. You have no contact with the Kisaragi Foundation. All the necessary technology was lent by the Toa Group. By Monica. Toa, I missed them. So there's nothing strange about saying that the Kisaragi Foundation was actually the one who protected us. Wait, then all the evidence for those claims is all that Akane prepared, right? There's a possibility that everything was manipulated. That is not likely. Huh? How many times did I tell you that this trial is fair? Besides, there's no benefit for us doing that. At the start, I said that this trial itself was like a bonus stage, but if you keep suspecting and doubting, it'll get difficult, won't it? I don't know about the Toa Group, but I can attest that the Kisaragi Foundation is innocent. You don't have to worry about anything. Okay, let's say the Kisaragi Foundation wasn't on the side of the Mastermind. But if not, then why are we in their laboratory? I don't understand that. What does the Kisaragi Foundation have to do with us in the first place? If it's not for the Mastermind, why are they related to us? That's obvious. There wasn't just only one point of contact between us and the Kisaragi Foundation, wasn't it? He was a freshman in the 79 class of Hope Street Academy like us, the existence of Yamato Kisaragi. When Kisaragi showed up after we lost our memories, I was so mentally withdrawn that I couldn't meet him properly. But from what I've heard, he was so unstable that he couldn't communicate properly. At this point, of course, I think all of you will know, but Kisaragi never had such a handicap when he was in school. Before he lost his memories, he was rather a leader and a lively guy more than anyone else. What happened to that guy who got into such a state? I don't know that either. Maybe it was the aftermath of the amnesia. No, hold on, I know that Kisaragi was a classmate, but that's all there is to it. It's not even my family, but his whole family was associated to us? Family? Looking back, it seems that there was a student who was more than just a classmate with Kisaragi and was very close. I must have found clues related to that in my investigation. That clue is... Curio, what if there really was a family-like relationship connection? What do you mean? Didn't you see the headmaster's office? The picture of Kisaragi's childhood. That family picture? Of course I saw it. What's that about? The girl who was photographed there is Kurokawa. Eh? That was Kurokawa? Why are you surprised? If you just look at that girl, it's her, isn't it? No, but she's too different, isn't she? I can't even imagine seeing Kurokawa smiling so brightly like that. That's certainly true. No matter what memory loss is, the Kurokawa we know today was a dark and gloomy student, with such impression and of few words. Originally, seeing the picture for the first time, I wouldn't have been convinced that the girl in the picture was actually Kurokawa. But why did I think it was Kurokawa without any doubt? Was it because I saw something like that in my dream? But it must have been a dream. At least for me, I'd never seen Kurokawa like this. Still, why? God. It's not unreasonable for you to think that way, but like I said before, Kurokawa had a very bright personality. And just like Maeda said, Kisaragi was like a family. No, they were a family. I spoke directly to Maeda-sama about this. Kurokawa-sama lost her family when she was young and was abandoned on the streets. The Kisaragis who found her adopted her and was raised by their people. Hanzo Kisaragi, the president of the Kisaragi Foundation at the time, and Yamato Kisaragi's father, can be said to be a father to Kurokawa too. Likewise, to Kisaragi-sama and Kurokawa-sama, they must have been like siblings. While looking at the two of them normally, it seems that to Kisaragi-sama, you were his younger brother. Hoo. Is that right, Kinjo-sama? Don't talk to me casually, you criminal bitch. Good to see you're still the same Kinjo as ever. As for the other students, I don't know, but to Kisaragi, Kurokawa's family, Kurokawa's reaction to the Kisaragi Foundation was proof of that. So you're saying the Kisaragi Foundation really protected us? There's a reason for that, but this is all I can say. During our school life, we all had a close relationship, so I think that even if it's if someone other than Kisaragi, we would have supported each other. Because there were a lot of people who were hurt and hungry for love. You're the exception. I hate myself for speaking kind to you in the past. There are clues that the Kisaragi Foundation protected us, but would it be okay to hold for a minute before that? As Kinjo said earlier, that Kurokawa was originally like that, like Kisaragi, that he had a bright personality. Those two, they probably didn't have their own memories erased properly. Huh? I've thought of that too. In the case of Kurokawa, she even tried to tell us about the mastermind in her last moments. I thought that was a blurred memory. Why didn't they tell us the truth at first? The brainworms! Why were they a special exception? Well, I don't know. Guess it. Did Kurokawa and Kisaragi really know everything? But how? I have a feeling that something is coming up in my mind. Let's talk this with everyone and think about it more deeply. Memory storage. Why couldn't the memories of those two be erased? Did you prepare something in advance? That was easy. A memory storage device. What? A device that minimizes the damage of the memory manipulator based on samples of memory manipulation devices. Kurokawa and Kisaragi used that machine, didn't they? What is that thing? Was it something you just imagined? It's the first time I've heard of such information. Maida, where did you learn this? In the headmaster's computer, after the investigation was over. I was going down to the first floor, I found the computer turned on. Someone's voice in the computer told me about the storage device. That's something I don't trust. I also checked the computer of the headmaster, but it was in a state where the power was not being supplied at all. You said it was turned on and you heard someone's voice. Are you sure it wasn't a dream? I don't believe it either that such a machine exists, but I didn't hear it wrong. I'm sure the computer's voice told me that information. And besides that, there was another thing. The worms! The worms! Huh? Yuki, are you okay? It sounds like you're wobbling. Yeah, the discussion comes first. I'm not certain, but could this information explain that Kurokawa and Kisaragi's memories were still intact? That said, I think it's too much to fit in. No need to worry, Mikaro. The information Maida says is probably true. Is it really? I think Kisaragi vaguely mentioned it. I didn't know what he was talking about at the time, but if he had been preparing for his memory erasure since then... Alright, I think we've come to a rough conclusion. Kurokawa-sama and Kisaragi-sama were able to avoid complete amnesia by using the memory storage device. You're going to admit it right away? It's actually a little early, but it doesn't really matter. Moreover, the trial cannot proceed when there's a difference in opinion. Kisaragi-sama didn't know how to do it, but he made a similar device based on the data he obtained on the memory manipulation device. It was a device that could resist the amnesia. Wait, Kisaragi made a device to resist amnesia. Does that mean he knew you guys would erase your memories? Why is that? And if he knew, why did only those two use the memory storage device? Yeah, good question. I'll talk about that a little later. Could you please stop cutting to the chase? Anyways, using the device, Kurokawa and Kisaragi-sama didn't lose their memories as you might expect. But because it was made hastily and was just a wild product, side effects were present in the device. Side effects? That's right, the voice inside the computer said that there may be side effects. And this side effect was so fatal that it could not be ignored. The side effect is called speech disorders. Okay? Well, maybe it is, I guess. It was Kisaragi-sama who made the machine in the first place, and there's only the two of them who used it. I'm not a genius, so I don't know much about machines and stuff. There was that too. Kurokawa's strange speech was low with few words, and Kisaragi's strange language was odd. was a side effect of the memory storage. Besides, the side effect don't end there. There seems to be some individual differences. They're very convenient side effects, huh? But the two of them had a few more. Kurokawa-sama, for instance, dynamic emotional change, and Kisaragi-sama lost his personality. So then, Kinjo said that Kurokawa was originally a bright person. It's true, Kurokawa is such a bright person even in class. Joy, sadness, anger, love, all of her emotions were incapable of expressing themselves due to the side effect. In Kisaragi, Monokuma said there's an abnormality with his brain. That was the side effect. The original cheerful personality was gone. And his personality was twisted as if he had mental retardation. Can you say that? That a machine that prevents amnesia but makes people's emotions and personalities. That's kind of fucked up. And also very stupid and extremely convenient. What makes people's emotions and personality disappears? Well, as I said before, I'm not good with machines. Because there were so many unknown things about the human brain. Wait, it's strange for something like this to happen. Kisagi returned to normal for a brief moment, and Kurokawa also spoke even more at the final trial. I'm not sure about that either. If you think about the headaches Kurokawa-sama often felt, they were probably the pain of burning your own head. She must have overcome the side effects to do it. That's what I can guess. Do you all remember? The two of them were complaining of headaches when trying to remember something at an important moment. That was the aftermath of forcing you to ignore the side effects? I can't 100% prove it though, but this I can be sure of. Pain continues to happen when you keep ignoring the warnings of the side effects. Your body sends you, and if you don't obey the commands the brain sends you, splat! No brain worms? That's what they said. The brain cells that could not overcome their host would make them— this is so stupid— would make them die in the end. They said— who said that to you? Kisaragi. Well, I eavesdropped there. Then, when Kurokawa suddenly spat blood and died, the fact that Kisaragi exploded on his own, you mean it was all because of that? Kurokawa's death was certainly so unnatural, her hair suddenly bursting from the inside without any sign. I don't think that's how that works. I don't think your brain cells literally explode. But sure, man. It was the aftermath of the side effects. If your memories were fine until a while ago, why would you not want to say anything to them? You might think that, but it's actually the other way around. Kurokawa always tried too hard to tell the truth every minute, every second. In the aftermath of amnesia, memories related to her school life to come out of her voice. My god, it must have been a horrible headache just thinking about it. You must have seen a lot of Kurokawa-sama's headaches from time to time. Why did you do that? If you hadn't tried to recall her memory and tried to tell the truth, she wouldn't have felt the pain, right? Such a thing. Damn it, Kurokawa. Yes, that was it. Because Kurokawa is nice and kind than anybody else, she tried to do it for everyone. Apart from Kurokawa, what happened to Kisaragi? You said her brain was overheating, but Kisaragi died with a hole in his chest. Wasn't this someone's intention? I think I know the cause. Kisaragi's chest was destroyed like a bomb exploding, and there was information about the storage device that we assumed to be the cause of this outcome. The reason is... The voice in the computer I heard about the storage device added one thing. The voice also mentioned side effects, and in order to prepare any possible side effects, they said they made a small detonator that explodes with an external signal. Detonator? There was so much noise that I couldn't understand everything, but they told someone to kill them if anything happened as a result of the side effects. I was unconscious at the time of Kisaragi's death, so I don't know. If what might have said is true, but I think the voice in that computer was Kisaragi himself. Wait a minute, but Kisaragi is dead, right? It must have been pre-recorded or something like that. It's a clue that Akanitara left to investigate anyway. No, to be honest, I'm new to this information. That's what I said, didn't I? I think it might be a little early for this. What? And how did Maeda hear this? It wouldn't be a lie to hear the exact words. Well, it doesn't matter, right? It's not a big deal. Anyway, just as Maeda-sama said, Kisaragi-sama made a detonator and installed it on himself and Kurokawa-sama on purpose. At the time, they were not sure about the side effects, so they literally put insurance on them. From here on, I'll explain. Kinju-kun said I was the one who killed Kisaragi-kun after the trial. But in truth, the culprit is Miss Kurokawa! This device was never made by me. The detonator was made by Kisaragi-kun, but it was Miss Kurokawa who installed it. Since Kisaragi-kun was killed by the bomb Miss Kurokawa mounted, the culprit, that's kind of a technicality, but sure. The culprit was Miss Kurokawa all along. What the hell, that's nonsense. No, it may sound far-fetched, but if you follow the rules of the class trial, then the bomb is the weapon. If Kurokawa is the one who installed that weapon, then the culprit would naturally be Kurokawa. That's the conclusion of this story. Yeah, you fools, I never lied. Ha 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 ha. The question is, who detonated the bomb? Mario clearly said that the detonator explodes with an external signal to kill them. Meaning that the bomb doesn't explode until it gets a signal. Huh? That's... Even if it was Kurokawa who installed the bomb, if it was someone else who sent the detonation signal, wouldn't the theory of Kurokawa being the culprit a little strange? That was... Don't be fooled by the past, I'm done talking about this now. You still don't even know why you're in the Kisaragi Foundation. So hurry up and discuss. Monokuma-sama, the gallery is getting tired, so just shut up. Still, there's some truth in Monokuma-sama. The topic of conversation was increasingly related to the last incident. I've told you a few times. Okay, she really doesn't want to talk about this, huh? Kisaragi-sama's murder case is nothing, so please forget about it. Rather, what you're supposed to do is find out the truth of this killing school life, right? So did you find out why you joined the Kisaragi laboratory? Changing the topic, huh? I can't speak anymore. But what she said is true. In any case, in order to win and escape from this trial, we need to know the overall background. Now let's figure it out step by step, starting with what's in front of us. Yeah, you even said that the Kisaragi Foundation wasn't on the side of the mastermind, right? Still, the Kisaragi Foundation is good, and Kisaragi, the successor of the foundation, was her classmate. And we know that Kurokawa is part of the Kisaragi family. There's really no way to know exactly what happened and why we're in this situation. No, Teruya, that's not necessarily the case. To answer that woman's question, we started discussing about the Kisaragi Foundation, but there were clear clues about the situation before we lost our memories. You lie, where is that? You really are an idiot till no end. Did you even do your investigation? Are you wearing your eyes for decoration? No, if you're like that, your brain is the problem. Just die. This is frustrating already. Thank you! That's what I've been saying for like 2 trials in a row. Well, it's been a while since you poured out a complete set of venomous words. There's no need to say something so harshly. Calm down, I can answer it if it's frustrating. It's because the clue was for everyone to see in the headmaster's office. Headmaster's office? Aren't there only random, meaningless notes in the office? How can you be so close to the realm that you don't even know this? This is a talent of fools. It seems that Teruya doesn't understand well. I have no choice but to tell him. Among the notes of the headmaster's office, a clue that gave us a rough idea of our situation, that is... As Teruya just said, there were a number of notes scattered around in the headmaster's office, and in one of those notes was written, "The researchers are on standby. Now I can bring my friends to that place. It will be safe for the time being." That's what it said. Hoo. Yeah, I think I saw something like that. Then that place they mentioned is... Yes, we followed that person who wrote that note by ourselves into the Kisaragi laboratory. Ourselves? Who is the person that wrote that note? Well, in all likelihood, Yamato Kisaragi. In the notes of the headmaster's office, the name of Mikako is mentioned over and over again. And as Mikako's classmate, is the person who entered Hope Peak Academy this time. In other words, before entering the school, Mikako, they were a close friend of Mikako Kurokawa. In the middle, it is said that he is the third representative, and there's also the words of a researcher, so it is a note written by Yamato Kisaragi. I'm 99.9999% certain. Kisaragi took us to this lab? Why? Maybe it was to protect us. The note also mentioned they would keep us. Something big happened outside and we had to hide somewhere, so maybe they took us to the laboratory. Because Kisaragi was that kind of guy. Wait, if the note itself was a trap to make you think that Kisaragi wrote it... Oh my god, shut up! Otori-sama, could you please stop making me repeat what I just said? There's no such thing. Tori's stupidity adds fun to the trial. No, it doesn't. But there's something called being ignorant. Don't worry, Teruya. Everything we've said so far is true. I guarantee it. If you can think about it better than that, you will naturally agree. Do you even have a point? I had continued to be suspicious of the Kisaragi Foundation. I was sure there must be something. There must have been a cause that put us in this situation. But now I can tell. If everything we said is true, it would be a terrible thing to disrespect Kisaragi into having such doubts. I'm sorry I kept saying strange things. If you're in doubt, a note to summarize the situation would be the right thing to do. That's inevitable, because it was Kisaragi's hobby to write down everything on a note and keep records. They fell into the hands of the mastermind and were placed in a suspicious spot. I can't remember, but Kisaragi was also our classmate, and I can't deny that he even protected us from danger. That's why we were suspicious of him. But wait, is this okay? Kisaragi took us to the laboratory to protect us? I understand to this point, but as a result, the laboratory was renovated like Hope's Peak Academy. The mastermind created a stage for us to live in a killing school life. What in the world happened after Kisaragi brought us to the lab? Well, that's... Pooh, you don't have anything to say? Yeah, that's the way it is, because what happened after you entered the lab has left no clues about it. It's not that I didn't leave any, it's that I don't have a clue about this. Well, if we had a clue, the bloody 5th floor hallway, it's a clue to begin with, but it will be difficult to understand even if I say this. This is Kinjo-sama's turn to step up. You used all kind of excuses to keep me quiet before, but now you want me to tell them? Huh? I was sorry you've been so quiet, so I'm giving you a chance. I said that, but it's just a little embarrassing because it's something outside of Kinjo-sama's memory. However, if your memory came back, you should use it. So for the ignorant people, do a great speech, please. Whatever, I was going to tell them anyway. Listen up, you guys. A huge incident happened at Hope's Peak Academy, and we were in a situation where even our lives were at risk. Kisaragi brought us here to the lab to protect us from him. However, Kisaragi made one mistake. He didn't know that the ultimate despair student was hiding in our group, the 79th class. If it's an ultimate despair, you're talking about Akane. To be honest, even I didn't know that Akane Taira was an ultimate despair. It's no wonder that girl from the time of her admission, she pretended to be our classmate, completely melted with us. Oh my, it's not a lie. Of course I hid my identity, but it's true that I was a classmate. I did not pretend. Shut up, just thinking of being a classmate with you makes my blood boil upside down. I can barely understand. Akane Taira didn't know she was an ultimate despair, and Kisaragi sent that girl into the laboratory. That's right, the first few days after entering the laboratory were calm. There was anxiety about being away from her family and being in the open sea. But we were all together, and for the time being there was a mood to look at the situation positively. But then, Akane Taira started moving the tide. Do you guys know why the 5th floor hallway was so bloody and messy? That's why. It's because the researcher of the Kisaragi Foundation who originally fled with us were slaughtered there. What? A massacre. Akane Taira killed the researchers? No, she didn't kill herself. It was the Monokumas who started the slaughter. How did she get Monokumas there? Monokumas? It was written on the note, but before the commotion at Hope Street Academy, Kisaragi had the Foundation researchers ready in advance. Thanks to their swift action, we, the 79th class, were able to escape to the laboratory. However, among us, Akane Taira and Ultimate Despair was handed over to the enemy. As a result, within a few days of evacuating here, a lot of Monokumas attacked the laboratory. They just came in on a boat? What do you mean? We're on an island. They just flew in from the sky? Whatever. It was a nightmare at the 5th floor. No, most of the experimental facilities were concentrated on the 1st floor of the laboratory. All the researchers were living there. At the time, we were in the basement where our dormitories are, so we could be safe there. When we were trying to keep in touch with each other somehow, I was attacked by Akane Taira and incapacitated. You were attacked, no matter how vigilant we were. No, one person neutralized all 14 of us? The job wasn't that easy. The lab is spacious. There were a lot of things going on at the time of the raid, but there was no one who could do a sane reaction to the sudden attack of that woman, whom we believed to be our friends. I barely noticed it just before. I knew that Akane Taira was the mastermind, but most of them probably lost consciousness without even knowing who they were attacked by. I actually did tuck the back of your neck like this. But that means that Kinjo didn't get hit right away, right? After dodging the surprise attack, they faced each other head on, but Kinjo lost? It's not so strange. After Akane Tara's memory came back, she showed her athletic abilities. Yes, she's Spider-Man. She must have received some special training. Pooh, there's nothing special about it. That's just a basic skill of a maid, right? Kinjo, what happened after that? I went unconscious. Like you guys said, Akane Tara's nonsensical physical abilities quickly struck me too. I don't remember anything after that. Perhaps she used the memory manipulation device on all of us who fainted. As far as I know, this is it. The lights were lit and there were screams and alarms from the researchers, so I don't know the situation from any of you guys at the time. No, but thanks to you, fortunately, that means the culprit was Akane Tara. We were able to get things going. Because it's obvious, even if we don't see much after that. Researchers were killed, but we, the 79 class, were all disabled and erased from our memories. Those who have completely taken over the laboratory were remodeling the building to their liking, as in another Hope Speak Academy suitable for killing school life. Pooh ho ho ho. That's how it happened. In the end, Kisaragi and Kurokawa, they were all played and fooled by her. This is the truth, the reason we ended up killing each other in a place we didn't even know. The same cause when we came to the Kisaragi Foundation's research laboratory. It's finally time to summarize this, to put an end to this terrible case. Really? I feel like there's nothing to summarize, but sure. Oh my god, Junko. So like, were we only friends for like a couple months then? If even that? We are the new students who entered Hope Speak Academy. We were called the 79 class. In our memory, we suddenly lost consciousness while gathering at the entrance hall on the day of the entrance ceremony and introducing ourselves. But in reality, that wasn't it. That wasn't it because we went to school in our normal lives and had been classmates for several months already. The reason we didn't know about it was because the mastermind used the method to manipulate the memories of all of us. The biggest reason seems to be that there was a part that differed from the real version from the memory of the first time we met. That's right, one of the students of the 79 classroom of Hope Speak Academy. Yamato Kisaragi's existence. We were into 15. In total, the real number of the 79 class was 16. For some reason, we didn't remember Kisaragi. All memories related to him were gone. So after leaving the ballroom, Kisaragi appeared in front of us, but we didn't know who it was. No matter how much our memories were manipulated, it is certain that he was our classmate. And all our friends who died while killing each other. Meanwhile, there was something behind Hope Speak Academy. A high school girl created a video that turns you evil when you watch it and took over the world using them. It's a fact we didn't know at all, but by the time we entered the school, if we didn't hide ourselves somewhere, it seems that a big event was going on that could endanger our lives. And unlike us who didn't know anything, Kisaragi seemed to know this. He was thinking of evacuating us somehow for safety. And thanks to that, we were safe in a refuge. Can't be sure because our memories were erased, but based on the information we found so far, I'm guessing something very bad happened at the school. It can be said that we were barely alive thanks to Kisaragi's quick response. Looking at the notes in the headmaster's office, it seems that Kisaragi escaped from Hope Speak Academy with us. I don't know what happened to our families or what happened to the other students left behind, but in the end, I think Kisaragi deserves her thanks for saving our lives. The place Kisaragi tried to escape with us was in his family, an unused research lab owned by the Kisaragi Foundation. A place on a remote island not known to anyone other than the Foundation. so it must have been decided that it was safe. I don't know why we had to escape to such a place. We can imagine that it was a very dangerous situation. And that place was the third Kisaragi Research Laboratory on a remote island. It was used to become Hope's Peak Academy, where we are right now in this building. But in the end, Kisaragi made one mistake during the evacuation process. That is, among the 17 in class, a traitor, the mastermind, was in our group. The mastermind followed us into the laboratory with their identity hidden. I don't know why the mastermind was acting for, but as a result, no one knew that our classmate right next to us was our enemy. The mastermind began to attack and neutralize us one by one without even dreaming that a friend would attack them. Most of them were attacked without even knowing who they were ambushed by, and even Kinjo, who avoided being surprised, but was defeated in a head-to-head fight. All of us who fell were subjected to some kind of experiment by the mastermind. We lost all memories from our school life since we entered Hope's Peak Academy. No one knew what happened immediately after we lost our memories except the mastermind. Actually, from what we've heard, the mastermind also erased their own memories, so nobody knows. However, there's also the testimony of Kinzo. The Monokuma attacked the research center, and it can be Kinjo, not Kinzo. It can be speculated that the mastermind and Monokumas may have remodeled the laboratory behind the scenes. Yes, to make it look like Hope's Peak Academy. That's the reason why this place was decorated like a school, even though it was a laboratory. I can't tell you how much time has passed since then. At least when they lost our memories and opened our eyes again, everything was ready to begin. We've been ignoring the fact that we were friends, and we've been killing each other in order to get out of here as Monokuma ordered. This is the reason why we're in the Kisaragi Foundation's research laboratory. The cause that started all the incidents, and the culprit who created the situation, the identity of the mastermind, culprit of everything. It's really unbelievable. I don't want to believe it. Why is she crying? Oh. Now I have no choice but to accept it. The true nature of the mastermind. Akane Tara. The fact that it was you. The fact is that it was you. And also probably us. Probably also Yuki as well. This is the truth. I won't run away from reality anymore. I murder her who deceived us and kill her friends. You're our enemy, Akane Tara. Poohoo, 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 poohoo. Oh. Suspended? Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, pretty much, I think literally everything they said in this first half I already knew. The whole thing about fucking the side effect of the memory storage device making them bleed from their fucking mouths and having their brain explode is so fucking stupid. I can't even get started on it. That is unbelievably stupid. Also, them placing a bomb on them that can be detonated remotely for some like in case the side effects are too bad. But like, who's even gonna detonate that? Like, who? You two are the only ones who know about it. That also seems stupid. But to be honest, like I've never been a fan of Chapter 6 in these games. They're always really stupid and just kind of dumb. And I'm never a fan of them. The only one that I liked was the V-Tier one, which is one that everyone hates. That one I think was kind of interesting. But yeah, this is 90% stuff I already know, and 10% like really stupid. But at least it's stupid in a funny way. So it's okay. Next time, I guess we're finishing this last trial. Maybe next time is the final time. Actually, who knows?